Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So today I'm coming back with Cute Christmas, and this is Santa's Little Helpers. So you've got 3 decent sized toppers on here, quite a few little sentiments, a border, and then you've got this cute one which has got the whole scene with these cute reindeers and the trees. You've got this one with the 2 corners on. And then for the insert, you've got a repeat of that one with the 1 corner, and then you've got the little scene with the Father Christmas on the opposite side. So I'm going to do a variation on a card that I've done before, and I'm hoping it's going to work out with that topper I had this card in mind, and I had to go searching through the whole cute kit to see which one I think would go best with it. So, and I think this is going to be the one. So I'm going to start by bringing in a piece of 6x12 300 GSM cardstock, and I'm going to score at 4, and then just because I've got the smaller board, I'm going to score at 2 and a 4 again. So this is just going to give me a sort of normal little stepper with 2 steps. I've done this card before. It's perfect for those sort of longer toppers when you want something to go above. I think I made quite a few sort of unicorn cards with this one, because they just look great coming over the crest of that. So just giving that a good burnish down. And then if I pop that out of the way a minute, I will come back to that. I'm going to bring in my trimmer. So at the moment, this is how it stands. Okay, so you've just got those 2 little steps. You've burnished those down quite nicely, so they are going to sit quite nicely on a shelf, and that's a perfectly nice card blank to be starting with. But I'm going to add a few things to it and try and make it a little bit different. So I've taken another piece just because this is what I've got to hand, and I'm going to cut a piece off this at 2 inches. I'll put that back into my pile for adding again, and I think I'm going to score at, I'm going to go, not score, I'm going to cut that at 11 inches, so just take an inch off there. And then if I bring that scoreboard back in, I'm going to score this at, so it was 11, so I'm going to score it at 5.5. So that's just going to do that in half like so. And what we're going to do is pop this onto our card over, so it's kind of a bridge. It will hold it together somewhat. You will still be able to write in the inside quite easily, but it's just going to give it a slightly different look to our card. And I'm going to try and keep it in the 6x6 sort of size, so that it will go quite nice and easy into an envelope. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer again, and I've got some holographic silver, just because I've been sort of a bit obsessed about using it at the minute. So but you can use the normal silver if you want to. And this mat on here, we're matting for 2x6, so I'm just going to take 2 notches off that 2 and 2 notches off that 6, like so, and that should fit quite nicely onto there, and it does. And then this size is 4x6, so I'm just going to take 2 notches off that 4. You can keep this little bit for a little border if you want to, and then 2 notches off the 6, and that one should fit quite nicely onto the back. Let's see if I pop it in nicely, it will go. And then this was 2, and I think it's 5.5 now is the length. Yeah. So I'm going to have to use another one of these maybe mats, but I'm going to take 2 notches off the 2. I can keep this piece if I need another little off piece, and then 5.5 minus 2. And then hopefully that should fit quite nicely onto there. That's not folding very straight, but I'll sort that in a second. And then coming to the cardstock, I'm going to first of all cut this to 5 3/4. And this is the printed cardstock. And the first cut on here I'm going to make is going to be 1 3/4. And that is going to go onto the front of our card. So we've got our little trees coming on there. And then I'm going to pop that away. And I'm going to swap to the foiled cardstock. And that, by the way, so even though I've taken that piece off there, we've still got enough to do a another 6x6 card. So you know, with mats the way that I do it. So again, I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4 just to give us that little reference point. Now this piece needs to be 3 3/4. But I don't particularly want to be cutting off the trees, so what I'm going to do is just take 1/4 of an inch off the bottom, and then we'll do that again, 1 3/4, and there we've got pretty much most of those stars in there, and they are going to go into that middle piece there. And then for this piece here, I'm going to use just the blue because you're not really going to see a lot of it. It's just going to be a little bit at the top. So we've still got that piece which we could add on to another card if we want to. And that should be, oh no, we need to be 5.5, so it's 5 1/4 for that piece there. And that should fit quite nicely onto our little bridge piece there. Okay, so that is all the cutting. So nice and simple, nice and easy card. Okay, so first of all let me do this one, because the fact that that's not folded very square is annoying me a lot. So what I'm going to do is just fold that so that, pop it so it's on top of each other so it is square, and then what I can do is just go over that with the foam folder, and that's sorted that out for me. So while we're here with this piece, we will do our little bit of mat and layering. So in this glue here, I've got the Kalau all-purpose glue, that's the clear one, and this one is the Kalau tacky glue. It's just my preference on glues that work for where I am in the world. If you've got a glue that's working for where you are, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is sort of my motto. There are loads of lovely glues out there, Creative Expressions. I love that glue. I love the Pimple bookbinding glue. All really good glue. So unless it's not working for you, unless you're looking for a solution to a problem that you have, what I would say is, you know where you are and your environment, and different glues work better in different environments. I mean, you might even not like the wet glues, you might prefer to use the tape pens or the double-sided tape, and that's fantastic. I'm never confident with those things. I just think, when I make a card, I just want to know that there's a very good chance of everything being square, and I like the movability of these wet glues, and it's not for everyone. I appreciate that, but I mean, that's the brilliant thing about craft, isn't it, that everyone can be their authentic self, craft the way they want to, and just take inspiration where you need it, which is what I'm all about here. Just if you can use something what I'm doing, that's fantastic. You might have a better way of doing things, that's fantastic too. I am an Aries, so if there is a long way to go about something, I will do it that way. Okay, so I've just matted and layered those up, And some of these trees you're not going to see too much of, but obviously it's going to be that lovely background. I was umming and ahhing about whether to do the red in the background, and because I'm using that small long topper, I thought it made more sense for me having a story in my head to use those trees. And the thing I didn't want to do was cut into that cardstock and then not have an easy way to make another card from it. I mean, I know, like, you know, I've done 1,000 times joined cardstock with a ribbon if I've cut it in the wrong place, like the last one. Luckily that cardstock was very forgiving. I didn't need to do that, but you can join cardstock with a ribbon, another border, anything like that. But if I can, and this is something I've been trying to do more actually, is try and make sure when I'm cutting things, I'm trying to cut it in a way to make sure I'm getting the most out of the card. For example, like when I do my little simple stepper, just by rotating the card after doing that 1-inch cut, I get the whole thing out of one piece and I don't have all those pieces left over. So that to me is an absolute win-win situation. Okay, so that's where we're at. We've got our little stepper card. Like I say, it's in a sort of off center M sort of shape, and then we're going to come in with this one. Now, having said that I'm not really a glue pen type of girl, I am going to use the glue pen. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this on my mat, and I know I don't want to come over 4 inches at the back, so if I sort of put my thumb where that is, I can then go ahead, and this is the dotty one because this is the one that I have, and this is the Crafter's Companion one, and I am just going to hedge my bets by putting a little bit of that tacky glue on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that at the 6-inch mark again, and then I know I don't really want to come below my mat. I'm going to make sure that's kind of straight, and hopefully that's glued down quite nicely there, and I've not got any glue where it can be seen. Okay, so for this bit I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but just, I know I've only got a little tiny bit of space to put this on, so again, a little bit of those glue dots, that will glue it straight away, and that tacky dot, the tape pen, will glue that nice and firm while that tacky glue is, and then you end up with a card that's going to look like this. Okay, so you can still open it up quite normally, do your writing, which is the benefit. You know, I did make sure, I just wanted to make sure that that was still going to be quite easy to do. But that is our decorated card blank. Okay, so let's bring in the toppers, and the one I wanted to go for was this penguin one. And the reason why I wanted the trees in the background, because I kind of thought it made more sense for them to be leaning over these branches with the presents, because we have got the presents at the bottom of the tree as well. Okay, so that's going to go on there. I'm not sure about sentiment wise. So we've got Snow Much Fun, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, With Love from the North Pole, Santa Stop Here. We've got a Santa in a circle, like a button one. So I'm going to take Santa out. I'm going to pop Santa there. And I think, oh, we've got a scent with Festive Cheer as well. That's got the sort of snowman on. So I think go for this other button, With Love from the North Pole. Put that one there. Okay, so just debating, I think I do want that coming over, so I'm just going to pop that upside down, just so I know where to put my foam pads. And these are the Hunkydory ones. A bit sticky because I've had them out and not done anything with them. totally my fault. I think if we just go down in one strip, we should be okay. And forgive the little scratches and things. I haven't got a cat. I had to go out and with the hedge trimmers and attack the front hedge before the holidays next door. You know, they're all coming down with the kids. So I'm just going to put yeah, so I had to just go out and that, and it was attacking me more than I was attacking it, I think, in the end. But my hands are a little bit dodgy. Not too bad. Sometimes I can't use them at all for a couple of days. I'm just keeping this tight right up to it because it's just going to come over just that little bit. I want as much support as I can get onto it. Just going to go a little narrower with that one because I have come over a bit further with the foam pad. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, I've got quite a few scratches on me actually. But at least it looks a bit tidier, although there are still some bits to pick up, but I just haven't got the bin space for them, so they're all in a bit of a pile at the minute. Gardening should be like a danger sport, isn't it, really, because there's so many things that will get you if it's not the bugs. Plants themselves. I got caught on the leg earlier. I went out in the back garden because the bushes that I did the other day, the hedge at the front is the front of the house. I went out in the back garden with Henry just before. Well, let's put some tacky glue on, give me a bit of wiggle room time. And when Anthony passed away, I found a rose, and it's actually a yellow rose, and it's actually called Anthony's rose. So I bought one for me and my sister. Unfortunately hers died, so I don't know what she did to it. She's not got very green fingers, but I'm hoping I can get a cutting of this one, or I'll just buy her a new one. Just grab my file if it's here. Oh no, yes they are. So I should have done this before I put it on. Just a few little pips that are standing out against that blue. Yeah, so hers died, so, but I thought it hadn't been doing so well, you know, like with the weather and everything. I mean, it wasn't dying, it was just not really growing, but I got some beautiful hydrangeas last year. I got a raspberries and cream one, which if you like hydrangeas and you've got somewhere that stays wettish but not over, you know, not waterlogged, it is beautiful. It's in flower at the minute and it's gorgeous, really really lovely. I've also got I think it's Annabelle hydrangea, which is like a big white mop head one, and that's in flower because I bought them like as small plants last year, and I've potted one on. The other one I just put in a bigger pot when I got it, so but they're both in flower. But this rose had gone up through the raspberry and cream hydrangea, so I hadn't realised how much it had grown, so I was quite pleased about that. Don't think I'll get any rose in flowers off it this year though, because it's not very big. Okay, Santa, we'll pop you down there. And I planted at the beginning of the year, well not the beginning of the year, sort of mid-March time. I planted loads of seeds, tomatoes, peppers, aubergines, cucumbers. Cucumbers got eaten by something else. I've got one aubergine plant with flower, it's just flowering now, so I will probably get some fruit off it. What else have I got? Oh, the tomato plants, they're not sure whether they're going to grow or not. They're about so big still, probably about 2 inches. So I'm not sure if it'll ever get to a size where it will grow enough to be have any fruit on by the end of the year. I think I'm going to go with silver Mary gems on this one. I was thinking about something else. Oh, that's good. purple one in it. Just take that out. Where that's come from, we'll pop you there. Okay. Oops. Right. So where do we want to put some gems? So I think I'm just going to go with one here. And I probably want quite a small one. Let's see, probably you look quite small. There we go. And then I'm going to pop one up here. And we want another friend that looks a little bigger. Maybe you look medium sized. Oh, you're about the same size as that one, so let's fit that perfectly. And then I'm just going to whip that one around, and we will find an even smaller one maybe. There you are. Come here. Just a little ditty one on there. And I think you could get away with not having any on here at all if you wanted to. I do like to add them on. But that is that finished card. Like I say, you can jazz this up with embossing, either an embossing folder or a stencil. You could even add some glitter onto these stars. I'm not going to do that, I'm going to keep it quite plain and simple. But I just kind of like those little penguins hanging over with the trees in the background. And it actually fits in quite well with that little Santa button as well. And that, so I like that one. So that is card number 1. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, I thought I'd just do one of my simple steppers. I haven't uploaded the template yet to YouTube, but I will do that for anyone who hasn't got that already. It is available on my Pinterest and Facebook pages if you haven't got that already. But basically, I'm taking a 6x12 piece of cardstock. I've put it in so that it's 1 inch over this side, because this is the trimmer that's got markings on both sides. And then I'm just going to cut from 1 to 7. I had to think then, there's been so many templates recently. And then I'm going to turn that around and do the same thing, albeit go from 7 till 1. Okay, and then we can pop that out and swap that for our little board. And I'm going to score out 1 just up to the cut line, 2 to the cut line, and 7. And then I'm going to turn that over and do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, and 7. And just to put the middle piece in, which is in between these tram lines at 6 inches, because we're still making a 6x6 card. Just finding that groove and giving that a little score down. There we go. Now with this card, you do have to sort of tease it into position, because we've done the score lines on both sides, and like I always say, you know, this piece of paper used to be a tree at one point, and trees aren't really made for bending. But if we sort of ease that piece in, ease that piece down, and that's into there, and then what you should find once you've ease these things into place, it should settle, and you can then just go over all of these and make them nice and crisp. That's moving over that way a little bit, so let's just get that straight. So if you find that your card is not lining up like that was there, it will be because your fold line isn't completely straight. But it's quite easy to just go in and give that a little piece back into shape where it needs to be. And then you're going to end up with a card that is that shape, which doesn't look very much when it's all white, but it's when it all gets decorated up that it begins to look like the business. So let's grab the trimmer again, and I think I'm going to go with silver this time. Will be boring. And like I said when I was making that other card about sort of trying to find the best way to cut the card, so this space here is pretty much 6 by 6. So to get this all out of one piece, what I do is this piece here is 1 by 6. So I'm going to cut a mat that's 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 6. And that will fit onto our front piece. And then if I rotate this piece round, so we've got the shorter edge here, now I'm going to be able to get all of my other mats out. So I've got 2 here that are 1 by 5. So again, I'm going to go 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 5, and that will pop into there. And we need one more piece of these as well for the other side, and it is easier to cut these smaller pieces first and then leave yourself with a bigger piece at the end. And this here is 4 by 5, so we need to be 2 notches under the 4 and 2 notches under the 5, and that will fit onto there perfectly. And all you've got then is maybe a border if you wanted to keep that piece. I've got so many of them now, I've been throwing them away. Oh, and another little piece there. Okay, so let's bring in the cardstock. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to go with this and use that up. So I'm going to be using this, let me drag the topper out. I'm going to be using this square topper here, which is Santa and his friends all on the bus. Where they're off to, nobody knows. So this I think was 5 3/4. Yep. So I'm going to cut, I think, so it would be 3/4 of an inch. So 1 1/2. We've got 1 1/2. We wouldn't have 1 1/2. Okay, so I think what the best thing for me to do would be to have I'm just trying to work out which is going to be the best bit to use. So obviously this is probably going to be the major part here, but I'm wondering whether to have that as a front, or I'm planning on using the border which has got some blue in it. So maybe I should do 3/4 of an inch here, and that should fit onto there, nice and bright orange, and that's going to be our border there. And then I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to do very carefully 3/4 of an inch again, just see what that would be. It would have a bit of it on. I'm tempted to use it. Let me cut it. It may be that I don't use it, but I'm going to cut it. So that's another 3/4 of an inch. Just going to pop a little bit of tape on there just to hold it in place. That's not too bad. And then these need to be 4 3/4 because these are for my sides. Yeah, I can live with that a little bit. Needs to go just a tiny bit. There we go. So those are going to go there. Let's get those. And then this piece here needs to be a 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Right, we're going to keep that triangle. There we go. So I could use that to foil on. I've still got a nice big chunk there I can use as a mat and a layer, or I can foil onto it. Even when there's got a pattern on it, it does look really nice foiled. So if you do enjoy foiling, and you've got any sort of spellbinded foiling dies or Crafter's Companion ones, I think there's loads now, Pretty Pink Posh, anything that's got a Better Press name on it will foil really well. In fact, I find, and I don't know if this is just me, but the Better Press plates foil better, and 100% of the time I've never had a problem with a Better Press foiling, whereas with a foil plate sometimes I have to just double check my temperatures and the time I'm leaving it to warm up. So yeah, I mean I love the Better Press plates. I joined the Spellbinders Better Press Society this month actually, so that's all paid, just waiting for that to come. And I know it is like a beautiful Christmas tree, and you pay extra, but there are some stencils with it this time. So and that's through Stamp-A-Lot. So Stamp-A-Lot, if you are interested in the UK to join that Better Press Society, and it's one plate every month. And as far as I'm aware, and I haven't seen it anywhere else, so I'm pretty sure it's true, this was a sort of scheme they introduced for sort of retailers to sell rather than themselves, so you can't get them direct from Spellbinders. It was, you know, sort of not as a reward, but you know, to encourage people to go to these small craft shops, because they're actually, you know, they are declining. We're not, I mean, we used to have 3, no, did we have 4? We used to have one just up the road, like literally 5 minutes walk. That was when we first started crafting, so that was quite about 10 years ago, 10, 15, no, it's got to be long more than that. Yeah, it was quite a while ago anyway. So we used to have one up the road. There was one within a 10-minute drive. That was the Stamp-A-Lot. They used to have a bricks and mortar store, and now I don't think they do as much. I think they still do classes, but I don't know how they do that. But they are not where they were anymore anyway, but they're still about. We've not lost them completely, thank the Lord. And then there was another little one that was on sort of middle of town. That's gone. That was a bit more like sort of factory sort of seconds and those sort of things. Although they did have, I mean, like when I went in there, mind you, this was quite a while as well. This was when we started. They had like half a warehouse of peel-offs, like millions of different peel-offs in every colour, every sort of occasion, from just words to images that you would then pop on, colour or pieces, other bits of peel-offs into. There was loads. I think they had like a massive aisle of punches as well. But yeah, that's gone. They used to have a little dog as well. A little, I think it was a border terrier. He used to come and say hello to you when you went in. So cute. Yeah, so, you know, that's just in my town. I know we've got Hobbycraft, yeah, I always confuse him with Hobby Maker. I think there are quite a few hobby makers, but even then, a hobby maker here now, there's very little paper crafting. There's more cooking things now, and knitting and sewing, which is brilliant because, you know, as a crafter, no, I don't think any crafter really does one thing. They sort of, you dabble in lots of different things, don't you? So it's always good to see these things, but just in terms of how much has disappeared in sort of last couple of years, and things are changing, it's quite sad. But yeah, so the Better Press Society, oh, look at being moved, was to sort of encourage people to go to real retailers, and I think that's fantastic for a supplier to do that. I really do support, you know, because it's just the way the world is changing, you know. But yeah, so if you are interested in that and you want to find out more, then have a look on Says Stamp A Lot, and they're lovely. Janice is lovely there as well. She will help you with whatever you need. You might not be able to get involved on this sort of cycle. I think it's a 6-month cycle, but if you are interested, then there's always the next one, which will be after December. I think it's £25 a month for the actual die. Sometimes, like I say, there's extras, but I don't think it was that much for the actual stencils to colour the tree in this time. And sometimes they do have the odd ones as well, not the actual subscription. So if you are waiting, you may be able to pick up some that you like there as well. Okay, let's stop talking about that now. So what I've decided is I want to put this border along the bottom. So I'm going to measure that to 5 3/4, and that's going to bring that in and break all that orange up, which I like, but it's a bit in your face, isn't it? So I've still got a decent piece there. I can use that as a flag or something like that. Now I have to decide. I'm just going to give that a little shape. It's just bending in a little bit now. Don't want it to dry that way. Do I want that raised, or do I want that flat? I think I'm going to raise it. So let's get those Hunkydory. These are 1mm foam pads, by the way. I know I didn't say, but they are the same ones I used on the last card. They are 1mm. And I tend now to buy, when I buy these ones, I didn't last time, I bought a load from Sticks too. And I'm probably going to buy another reel shortly, because I'm halfway through that other one. I think it does work out better for me because I'm making so many. So this has just decided to be awkward. There we go. Yeah, I always buy the bigger ones because I can cut those down if I need to. I used to buy the mixed up packages, you know, you buy, there used to be an offer 10 for however many pounds, £8 I think it was. But the only thing that I used to use the little ones on was the decollage for the really tiny pieces, and they ended up staying around and then getting a little bit stickier than I would have liked. So and it's not just Hunkydory foam pads, it's every brand I've had. Crafter's Companion tend to go a little faster in my opinion, but that's just my experience, and it could have just been that batch that I had. And then don't even get me started on ones that came from Amazon that Mum had, because she had not had those very long before she passed away, and they were awful. Okay, so I've just raised that up a little bit, and then I'm just going to get those pips sticking out. Yeah, that's it. And then I can decide, do I want to come over with that? And then we could have our button up there. And then some gems maybe on these snowflakes. I like that idea. Okay, so let's just tip that upside down. I'm probably going to use all of these pads on here. There's sometimes, like, I do watch my videos back before I, or while I'm editing them. And sometimes I think to myself, oh, you don't have to talk a load of nonsense. It's just what comes into it, your crafting. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why crafting is so good for you, because it just lets you sort of, you know, sort of unravel your day, doesn't it? those around that edge. And I've got some left there for that Santa stop here. So I think the Santa stop here is going to be perfect because they're all in a bus. So I thought, you know, it's like a little Santa bus stop. I mean, you could, I suppose, if you wanted to, either put on a piece of acetate or something else and turn that into a little bus stop, you know, like with a little theme coming up. That might be quite cool, but I'm not going to do that today. Just the pads, last one. Sorry, I know this is not the most interesting thing to watch in the world. And a little bit of tacky glue, tacky glue. And there. It's just going to give us that little bit of orange on. So I'm quite happy with that one there. See those little pips? How annoying is that? Where's my... There we go. So for this one, I think I'm going to have to double pad. So let's just... Well, actually, I've got tiny, look how much it is. This is Crafter's Companion one. Let's take that off. And I will have to put glue on both sides on this because it seems to go from stickiness to not sticky at all, these pads. Just put a little bit on. Put on there. And hopefully, there we go. Get this back off. And turn that around the right way. We've got our Santa stop here. And shall I go with some silver pearls? So we've got those ones. I know there's other things stuck on there. Not feeling those. We could go with some shiny ones. Let's go shiny. Because then I can pop them on these snowflakes. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. That was a bit more than I wanted. Five there, and use my little pickup tool. It doesn't really matter that there's a bit more glue on there than there should be because it will dry clear. The only thing is sometimes it stops you seeing where the actual centre of the snowflake is, so when it dries sometimes the gem is not quite as central as you thought it was. There we go. Did I put one on there? Bear with me 2 seconds. Sorry, sneezing fit. Okay, so just need one more. Look. Should be there. Oh, there was one on there, you just can't see it. Let's put that back in the middle. Okay, so you can barely see those, which worries me a little bit. Right, let's put that back in there. Let's go with maybe just one of these. So these are these AB ones. That's a really big chunky one. I'm just going to put one at the top. And hopefully those will catch the light, those little ones there. You could match it up on the other side if you want to, but I think a lot of that's covered from my point of view by that that topper coming over. So that is my 2 cards finished. Let me just bring back in that first one. There we go. That's that little stepper with the bridge over, just to help it give it a different look with the that topper. So that is it for the what's this one called? This is Santa's Little Helpers. I will make cards with the bits that's left over. I didn't make any from leftover last time, just hadn't had time to do it, so I will do those as well, and they will go up on Pinterest. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.